Hi everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I am a witch and we talk about witchcraft on this channel. Today we're going to cast a spell for favor in a difficult situation. So if you're in a situation where you need something, maybe you need something from somebody, maybe you need something out of life, and maybe you're dealing with the reality that this thing might not be so easy to get, or it might just not come to you on its own without a little bit of nudging. That's what this spell is for. So I actually performed a variation of this spell and I filmed it for you. So I'm going to show you how that worked. There will be a couple of things that will be different if you perform the spell as opposed to when I perform the spell, because they're based on personal preference, so please keep that in mind. Because this is a spell that I performed, I am not going to divulge what I was asking for favor with, just because I don't feel like it is appropriate for me to film a spell or really discuss a personal spell in my life when it is still in the working. And I'm totally willing to discuss old spells with you guys, and I'm totally willing to talk about like what has worked for me in the past. But since this is something that I did for myself and decided that I wanted to share with you, because I think that there are a lot of people that find themselves in difficult situations or difficult relationships where they could just use a little bit of good luck and positive energy. And so I wanted to share this with you guys. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video. And remember that patrons get first dibs when it comes to discussing video topics. And depending on your tier, you get a special handmade gift, access to a Discord server, and a whole lot more. So feel free to check out my Patreon. Also, you guys, bear in mind, this is my first ever voiceover, so go easy on me, okay? Okay, guys, so we're gonna get started by lighting some sage. Do me a favor and don't judge me too hard, because this is my first voiceover. I know I mentioned that, but it is. So I'm choosing sage to cleanse my area and consecrate my spell. I have salt, that is my special blend of blessed salt that I'm going to use to create a circle around my working area. So I'm just gonna go do that now. Oh my gosh, you can see my kitchen counter. So glad I did the dishes. So I'm just walking in a circle around the area so that I can put up an energetic barrier and make a safe space to perform the spell in. And now I'm just raising the energy to create that barrier where the salt has been laid down. Okay, so the base of my spell is going to be this lid from the jar. Oh, my sage went out. Gotta relight that. So I'm going to be putting this spell in the lid of a jar. I really like to recycle my supplies. Waste not, want not, right? Here, you can have a little cleansing too. Okay, so my supplies consist of a white candle. I'm going to anoint it with an attraction oil that I have. It has pheromones in it and is useful for things like love spells, but is also supposed to just be really good if you have like a job interview, or if you're just going to be around somebody that you just want favor with. No joke, that's how this stuff was sold to me. So it's really useful for that. I also have a notebook and a pen. I'm going to be taking paper out of this notebook and using it to write the portions of my spell. So there's 2 written portions for this spell. The first piece of paper is going to have the name or names of person or people that you are requesting favor from, or that you need, who you need favor with. So on the piece of paper, I'm just writing favor with, and then I followed it with the names of the people or organizations that I wanted favor with. I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave anybody out. It could just be as simple as your mother-in-law, but I don't have a mother-in-law, so it's a little more complicated than that. All right, now that that's done, I have a pin here that I'm going to use to, you guys know that I practice blood magic, especially in a case when I need to give an offering. I much prefer to give an offering of some of my life rather than, well, I don't do animal sacrifices. So this candle will also be anointed with a little bit of my own blood, and then I will stick the pin that I used to draw the blood in the base of the spell. I'm not showing this part because I'm not sure if that's something I can show on YouTube, and also if there's anyone who is squeamish or you know, it is triggered by self-harm or something like that. You know, I just want to be cognizant of everyone's situations. So I like to light the bottom of my candle just to melt the wax a little bit so it'll stick in whatever it is that I'm sticking it in, because I usually don't use the correct candle holders. So now I'm just going to light my candle. And I'm going to burn the paper with the names. Remember, this paper says favor with, and then it features the names of the people or organizations I need favor with. Now this is one of the reasons why I'm using a lid from a jar, because I knew that the paper was going to catch, and I wanted to make sure that any fire was contained and in a safe area. My candle went out. Hey, nobody's perfect, right? The candle is now burning from the bottom where it caught from the paper. Now I'm going to add a little bit of sweetness to the spell for favor. This is just going to sweeten the person toward you, sweeten the situation, whatever it is that you're asking for favor in. Boy, I'm really struggling here. This is a really good example of witchcraft not being pretty, you guys. Okay, wow. This is by far, I should probably tell you, this is by far one of the most impressive spells I've done as far as candle height. So real quick, I want to mention that I also went ahead and wrote an incantation. So this is the spell I wrote, and I went ahead and added this to the flame as well and let it burn down. And I repeated that several times as well as burned it in the flames as well. So here you see the incantation, the name, the candle, the sugar, everything is all burnt down and has turned into this crazy flame. How I put this out is I smothered it with a pan. And then once the fire was completely out, you'll see that there are a lot of ashes from what is left over from just the debris of it all. When it was all cool, I collected it and put it in this little jar. And then I did something that is more common in voodoo, where I took the ashes and I spread it where my subject was bound to walk. And this is what initiated the full efficacy of the spell. So when you're done, you want to take all of the ashes and put them in a jar or a container, and then you want to put them somewhere that your subject is bound to pass over them. It doesn't matter if it's inside, outside, in their house, whatever you have access to, somewhere you know that they will pass by or pass over, and that's where you want to sprinkle the ashes. And if you can, do this multiple days in a row. Wrapping up the spell, I let it burn down almost to the very bottom, and then I smothered it with a pot. I would recommend smothering your spell not with water or with your fingers. If it reacted the way that mine did, you saw that flame got pretty big. So be sure not to use water if you're using oils of any kind in your spell. or anything that would not chemically react well with water, my best suggestion would be just to smother it. And then you can always relight it later if you want to, or if there's nothing left to relight, don't worry about it. The main thing is just not blowing the candle out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this spell is helpful for you and that you're able to utilize a variation of it in your own life. Before I go, I just wanted to give a shout out to my newest patron. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate you so much. And as always, thank you for being here, witches. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day.